So, welcome to the live. We're going to be building this as I've been spreading across some of the platforms. This is what we're building, the UCS Falcon from '07. Normally when I buy old sets, especially big ones, it's sometimes organised by colour. It's sometimes all just dumped right in a bag. No, and I have to sift through, like when I built the Lego Death Star. But we've got something pretty cool here. By the way, we may be joined by Coleman Bricks, or Lego Commander Cody might join us. Anyway, we have this rather unique way of doing things. I really do like this. So, check this. The seller got a whole bag. I tell you, this is the most unique thing I have ever seen. A whole bunch of these Stanley toolbox, or kind of sorting things for nuts, bolts, screws, and just filled it with Lego parts. And that is the most unique way I've ever been sent something by a seller. I can spread it out all of the bed, just take these out the drawers. And it means when I'm building this set, I don't have to sift through for 10 minutes to find one small Technic pin that's a random colour. It kind of gives me the advantage. I can take the drawers out like that. Kind of see what I mean there? Yeah, right. So we're doing this on my phone, not the laptop. Because I know sometimes we do the streams on the laptop, but especially with YouTube, I have to install an additional program for that to work properly, and it's a bit of a pain. Plus, a lot of the programs make you pay for them as well. I was like, well, wait a minute. It doesn't really work too well for me. So, these are a little bit of a pain to try and get out. This, I suspect I've been sitting in this for a while. Right. Yeah. So, I'm just reading something there. Try and get these open. So, I admit, all of them have probably been in this a while. Oh, wait, these bottom ones. It's the top one that was stiff. So, that's kind of where I got the idea. I will just... Oh, crap. There we go. So, like, for example, this one is all of the wedge plates and stuff jammed into one. That's kind of ideal. I can't see the chat bar for this, by the way. I don't know what the deal is with it. Again, I'm used to doing streams with a laptop, but in this case, it's like, well, I'm just going to have to do it this way. But there's like 5 or 6 of these different types of Stanley boxes, and I'll admit, see for a set like this just makes it, like, for example, this is the cooler part. Firstly, the figures on this were Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and old Obi-Wan. Oh, there we go. I can actually read the chat now. Cool. So, with this, right, this is the cool part about this. I bought this used. Got a nice printed radar piece there, but check this. The UCS plaque. Now, when you buy a lot of old Ultimate Collector Series sets, for whatever silly reason, or you never find them in nice condition. Also, check this. There's a little random factoid about this set. In this set, maybe it's a joke, even though it doesn't make sense, about, how Wookiees take people's arms off if they lose, like the joke that's made in New Hope. But in this, is that Chewbacca's the only minifigure they give you an accessory for, and they give you a human smiling head for Chewbacca to hold. Why? I don't know why. But that drawer has all those parts. I am big... Well, that was one of the motivators for this purchase, was the condition. You can sometimes find this set for a good price, but, by the way, for everyone who's just joining, this is what we're building. See, I could have bought the current UCS Falcon, that would have been a bit cheaper than this, but anyone who knows me knows I kind of have to go for that classic. I kind of have to go for that proper retro thing. It's just how I am. Plus, with the kind of stuff I collect, that just fits better. So I'll be able to reuse these boxes for all sorts of things afterwards. But this stream, we'll see... Obviously, it's not in bags, but if you open up the instructions, the first bit of building is, how you build its kind of subframe. So if I could do that in this stream, I would be really happy. A lot of these streams will happen at random times just due to work and whatnot, but yeah. So untape these, because this is how they're arriving. And yes, there's food there before anyone asks. A drink. I don't often stream on YouTube, but quite a few people requested that I stream it here. You know, well, a lot of people didn't know this is what I was doing, this set, but a lot of people said, see, next time you do a really bit, like, people had asked me, next time you do a UCS set, can you do it on YouTube? Because I've got nearly 2,000 subscribers on here, so I was like, you know what, I'd be willing to do that. And the cool part is, for anyone who misses the stream, I'll upload it so it's watchable afterwards. Let's see what else we got in this one. So that one there is just some techniques and some soaps, because keep in mind, this is set is from 2007. So quite a few things you would think about didn't quite exist yet. Now, I've not built the modern UCS Falcon. I say modern, that's like 8. I suspect some parts will fly out when I'm taking these out. The UCS one, the current one, uses all these special kind of parts in it to achieve shape. Like, you look at all the parts in this, it's just the most basic Lego elements. This is fun. This is something I didn't expect myself to buy or to ever be building. I always thought if I was going to buy a UCS Falcon, I would buy the one from 2017. Because, hell, after 8 years, that must be Lego's longest hanging around set by far. Because that title used to be held by the Death Star from 2008, because that got 7 years. But this year, oh, that's the only one I know of that got that one. Right, so, let's remove. I will take my phone over, since I suppose that's the benefit of using the phone, I can have a bit more accessibility. But to explain how much stuff, right, that I've already put on this bed is insanity. You subbed, thank you very much. Welcome to the stream. Tonight we're starting the UCS Falcon. I like how on the back of this they give you. Do you know what the shame is? See if this set was released today. I suppose I don't know if they changed the instructions in the modern one. But you know how Lego now do the instructions as a digital render of the model with no background? This is why at least 2007 existed. Because that's cool. Right. So. Where are we at? Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Shadow Milk 555. It's an interesting name. Yeah. So, open up one of these ones next. Like half these, like a good 95% of these bricks, I will not touch in the stream, but let me get it open. So, these streams will be probably over the next week, whenever I can really fit them in. Like this one's cool. I can open and close it. If I lift up the phone, I can kind of show it like what I mean, like that. Perfect. Because again, like I bought, what was the last set I bought that was probably, okay, the last giant set I bought that wasn't brand new was the dropshipping ATOT. And the seller, I tell you one thing, it shows you how much price some sellers take. Because I tell you one thing, some sellers don't go this far. So this is probably the box I'm not gonna, do you know what, I'll open it anyway. But I don't see myself using this one. I'm just going to make an educated guess that this is all paneling. I want to be able to check that it's all paneling. I want to have reassurance on that. But I tell you one thing, I do plan to do some mock building in the future, so those drawers will be handy for part organisation. How good this box has a lock on it. So enjoy the best part is, see for the price this was going for. I thought that this would be a little bit grubby and maybe I need to wash a few parts, but for the money I paid for it, it's like new. This is, honestly, I think that's one of the best, and keep in mind how cheap I got the original Cloud City stuff. This might overtake that as the best deal I've ever gotten. And that's saying something. So those bigger boxes, I'll put those there. Because obviously I'm going to need some space for these, the really big instructions. So I don't want to put these there. What is that like to build? You used to have the same curtains. It's the funny things people... I enjoy stuff like that. People comment stuff like that that's not related to the subject matter, but it's still funny anyway. Because instructions take up a lot of real estate on the bed. Like I said, I'm not planning to do the complete set. I don't want to know how long that stream, and yeah, I'm going to do some eating while I'm at it. I don't want to know how long it would take me to build this all in one. I know that energy. Oh, that's macaroni. Hell yeah, eggs are brilliant. So I don't know how long this live stream will be. It'll more or less be as long as I feel like making it. Again, I did a full day at work, but honestly, the day must have went slower because see about 20 minutes after I left for work, I got the notification this had been delivered and it made my day go so slow because I was that excited. Because this is a Lego set I have probably wanted for the better part of at least 15 years. Like, see, when I got into Lego Star Wars, there was 4 sets that were considered like the best you could get. It was the Lego Death Star from 2008, this, Cloud City, and the OG UCS Star Destroyer were kind of like the big 4 back in the day. Yeah, presentation is part of it, but it looks quite decent. It tastes decent. So this one's got all like your kind of cylindrical pieces. Granted, the first part of this live will just be me taking out these drawers. It's not really, and I'll admit, some of these drawers, I don't want to force them out because then the parts will fly everywhere. I really don't want that situation on my hands. There we go. Some of them are really tightly packed. That can be slightly annoying. Normally I stream on other places. I don't really bother to stream on YouTube. I check them out of these. Crazy. I suppose that's mostly what the set will be made up of. Right, one more. Come on, slide out. Now I need to break the top off of this. Some of the tops are designed to pop off. And we got some conversations going. Thanks for the like on the live, that is appreciated. I didn't really announce I was doing these, I just maybe I should have. See, by that 20-minute mark, I want to have all these open. There's one more case I need to open after this one. We've got one box that is just stubbornly not coming out. Okay, that is just infuriating. Come on, let's go. I broke the box cutter. I've got plenty of those, but that's nuts. So it's like, this is all little small kind of greebling kind of detail pieces. You know what? Thanks, man. Alright. Do not feel that you need to do that, but it's always appreciated. Right. Let's try and get this open. This is actually becoming a pain. Ugh. Watch me go all this stress and it ends up being like one of the last boxes I have to go through. So it's cool, that's one of them instruction manuals, right, that has a binder. I think the last time a Lego set had a binder as an instruction manual, because now the UCS sets just come with multiple books. If I remember correctly, the last one to have one was the 2011 UCS Super Star Destroyer was the last time they did that. I'm wondering if I've got a flathead screwdriver handy. I do have a pair of scissors, but maybe I've got metal ones actually. I've got a spanner. Ah, there we go, spanner. What does this one contain? Some brown parts, some arches, pole pieces, interesting Technic parts. Right. We have one more worth of opening. At the end of the stream, I'm going to have to put all these back in there for storage between streams. Right. This one's a bit different than other ones. It's got even bigger drawers as you go down. There'll be a video. Ah, crap! I broke the box cutter thing. I've got a couple more of these somewhere. I should just to rip this off actually. There we go. That's the way you do it. Alright, can we get these all out? Come on. Well, the fact that I didn't spill half of this out the first time is kind of surprising me. But I tell you one thing, I don't really sell Lego. I mostly just buy it. I do sell it occasionally, but I have to admit, I now wish I could do it this standard. This is that one, because this is nuts. I know I sell the occasional set. Nothing too big. It's usually like I buy the army builder sets, the battle packs, and then sell the parts to make my money back on it. Yeah. That is disgusting. That is outrageous. You can't comment stuff like that. So why if we're building Lego? There could be younger people watching. No. I'm not cool with that. I'm up for a laugh, but that's actually disgusting. I'll put that on top of that because I'm not going to need the plaques literally the last thing you build. This has a single brick in it. A single part is in that one. That's nuts. Right, we have fully unboxed the thing. Neither should what you're commenting. Right, so I'll just move the laptop and stuff. Again, normally I stream on the laptop, but when I try to YouTube software, it's like when you stream on TikTok with the laptop, you can't just go on the TikTok application, right? It won't let you. Like, if you go on the TikTok application or website, it literally just tells you to download TikTok Live Studio. I need to figure out if there's a YouTube version of that. If so, I may just do it on the laptop. Right, so it begins. Study equal job. That's kind of funny. Right, so I have waited the better part of 15 years to get my hands and build one of these. This is like, wow. I remember seeing pictures of this in 2010, round about them, and wanting one of these when I was 7. I am now 22 and I'm succeeding in that. That is crazy. Again, I love the binder on this. That is something that they no longer do. It's one of those like many things Lego just that doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, I wanted this for the better part of 15 years. And I'll admit, out of those 15, I've spent the last 4 looking to buy one. So for 11 of those years, I couldn't afford one. I was never going to be able to buy one. But in the last 4 years, I've actually had the money to try and find one of these. And it was all about, I spent 4 years waiting on a deal that would work for me, and this one came along. And I'll be honest, I didn't, seeing the pictures for eBay, you couldn't tell it was being done this way. Honestly, I've never been so happy to get something. So the big box it came in is here. I'm going to actually go get rid of this just so I can actually walk in and out the room because it was blocking the path. And then we'll actually start. I tell you, I was anticipating, it said organised for rebuild in the description. And it had up close pictures of the tray, so you couldn't really tell it was a multiple tray system. That wasn't made obvious, but yeah. Right, we are ready to commence building. Sorry it took 24 minutes into the live. Well, I walked into an interesting conversation. Just checking my phone for any notifications. Right, so it's... Yep, just checking the time. So it is 18 minutes past 11. That's the UK time. Right, so we're going to begin building. The model will be here. It does get really big, so we have to have a point. We'll have to change the angle. Hopefully, you know, throughout the week I can get the laptop going. That'd be great. So, got to start finding some of these parts. Get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That looks like it. So I need one of those. I mean, it's a unique way to build a Lego set. I've never done it really this way before. Honestly, I'm not too sure what to say on this one. Are you just commenting random things now? I'm genuinely curious. So now, alright, I like how this has been sorted though. I know I've said it I thought a whole bunch of times, but I genuinely thought this would not be the most fun build I've ever done, but it's got easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first two pieces have been clipped together, and this begins. So, yeah, very exciting thing to be doing here. Right. We need one of them long ones. Yeah, we are going up. Honestly, this has been the dream for many years. And I'll be honest, I was not expecting to buy this when I did. I kind of shocked myself with it. I just saw it for sale, and I was like, do I? I'm like, I have the money was there. I find some of my best deals when I'm not looking for this set, because again, it's one of those things, once or twice a week, I was looking on eBay to see if there was listings for these. And you do find them for sale. But the bother is with this set, it's either always brand new in the box, which I'm not paying like $2 grand for, or the other side of that problem. The other side of that problem can be that it's in horrible condition. Like, it's sat on the shelf, because this set is 18 years old, right? Could have been sat on a shelf for those 18 years collecting dust. It could have been broken up in a box, just in segment. Like, no, this is in proper good condition. Yeah, all the dark meats though. You're just being random now. Wow. Right, so that's doubling up those plates there. Let's see. 2 of those. Try to memorize what bins have what in them. That'll take me a lot. I should be there eventually. Like, I can always look at something and be like, yep, that's where that is. Right, that. Need 2 of the really long ones. But this will be something, I felt this set of all sets would be the first one we do on YouTube. It just felt right. Not to mention, right, this is one I would like to be able to look back and find in years to come, because this, for me, is a big milestone. You know, this year on YouTube has been full of milestones. You know, we did proper good room tour, like the first room tour I looked at. And I was like, this is the best one I've ever filmed. I had the 10-year anniversary of my channel this year. Last month, which was, again, that was a special thing. So this just adds to the coolness that has been this year so far for me. Hey, Shadow Milk. It's an interesting name. I'd love to know the origin of that. So here's where we're at. Oh. Got a live stream blooper there. I think Oh no! Right. So I'll just get the rest. I will look at a page and grab all the parts at once before sitting down rather than up, down, up, down. 1, 2. So that's parts for that step or there. Let's see. One of those, 2 of those. We need 6 of these, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And one of the small ones of that. So therefore I have the next few steps worth of parts. Yeah, it does get really big if it goes right up to the camera. 1 second. I know I keep getting up, but this is a bit of a distraction zone. Aye. Use that to suck it out. That's handy, that. Well, I'm going to go get changed in that. And I'll see you in the morning. Right, let's get them 3 steps on the go. Yeah, sure, I'll be live tomorrow at some point. Let's see. Right, so I'm going to put some background noise on at some point in this stream as well. Just for my own benefit. Because obviously you guys can hear me and see me, but that's all I've got. A bit boring for me, eh? 1 second. What? Yeah, sure. I'll do that before I go. Oh, shit. Right. One thing I've noticed, right? Vader is on some pages of the instructions, but it's not on others. So I don't know, something weird I've noticed about the set. Ah, he sent me the buffering thing. Right. So if I cut these, again, we're probably doing like an outer corner or maybe a mid-section. I'm not too sure what part we're actually building. Just as I know that we're building some of its framework. If I could do in this one live a good majority of the frame, I would be happy. Because yeah, because I was initially fearing, yeah, I'm going to spend the whole thing digging through, like, for half an hour looking for one tiny part. But I tell you, that seller's getting a hell of a good eBay review, like 100%. This is just the best. Right, so now it's time for this bit here, more technical. This the first episode of this, maybe the second or third, will mostly be focusing on the Technic elements of building this. Well, most likely. See how long we'll be live for 34 minutes. So I'm saying I'm going to try and average these streams to be an hour at the least, and well, not going to set a maximum limit on that. Be interesting to see where we can go with it. Got to get another pin into that. Misread. It's an interesting angle for that. But I always wanted this. I not too long ago looked at 2017 ones, also the one from 2017. That's still available in the Lego store for you for to buy. So that's why I considered that one for a little while. Because I thought, you know, that could be a good idea, because I got to the point where I struggled to find one of these. And I was like, do I just buy some alternative to it? Remember, this set, apart from really the cockpit, lacks an interior. That's one of the main things about this one. Is Lego, I suppose though, back then, right, this is one of the few UCS sets that must have had minifigures, because for the most part, a lot of them really didn't. But that wasn't the standard. Like nowadays, you'd be enraged if a UCS set didn't have. Back then, that was not the standard for Lego. They weren't really doing it. I think this, I think the first UCS set to have a minifigure was the UCS Y-Wing, and that just had an astromech to put in an astromech slot. So, there we go. Every so often I'll show you the process, or where I'm at. But what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing all the parts on every page that's required, and then sitting down and doing the steps. That's probably the best way for me to do this. But that's like a 5,000. It's like a 5,000 piece model. It's big. Is the best way to describe it. Let's see, I need, how many of those? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I need 2 of those smaller ones. Funny, these pieces are also used on most of the smaller Falcons as well. Kind of cool how that works. Need one of those. Of these actually. Alright, I surprised myself. I didn't think we'd be going into the box that had all the plating in it. Got 2 of those. Need one of them plates too. So I'm saying no yellowing, no dust, no dirt. This is perfect condition. Also, I'll be doing my hardest to keep it that way while it's on the shelf. Sorry, I just jumped in my camera. But yeah, the goal is to maybe do hour to 2 hour streams at one go. Like, if I can do more than 2 hours, then I certainly will, but that's kind of just the goal I'm setting myself. Every stream will last between 1 and 2 hours minimum. So far, also that's between being at work and whatever else. Yeah, I don't always live stream on here, as I was saying, but like, see, for special things, like an occasion like this, I would. So if we were to go build another one, like one of the kind of absolute grail sets, like with Star Wars, something very special, then I would make the exception that I drop the Technic pin. There we go. So, for example, if I was to build, I don't know. Can't think of any other sets that would fit the category of what I'm talking about. Probably 1 or 2, but if I was to buy like a UCS Venator, then I would build that here. But if I'm gonna buy like a smaller build, like, I don't know, a Luke's Land Speeder or something like that, then it's gonna be like a TikTok Live. It just fits better. 1 second, I need to go do something, but there we go. That's a nice bit of play. Even if it ended here, I'm happy with that kind of progress. So let's see, what's this next? Oh, then grab the bits of the next step. How silly me. Suppose that one had quite a few parts to it. 1, 2, 2, and 2. Oh, we're 40 minutes into this already. That's kind of insane. Right. Let's see. What step's this? Alright. Are they the even longer ones? Am I confusing myself here? Is there a longer? Oh, there is longer ones. Alright, there we go. You want something new every day. We'll just go basically into, because we're doing this on the phone, the battery won't last that long. Let's see, we're at 29%. Once my phone gets to 10, we'll just end it. I didn't have time to fully charge it, but I was intent when I got home this evening on getting one of these out, because I can't help myself. Might do the occasional bit of building here and there off the streams, just because why not? Because this is, I'll admit, I am a bit impatient and cannot wait to see what this looks like on a shelf. So that's what we just built there, that segment. Where does that click in? Why does that come out further than that? Oh, right, okay, I misread the instructions. Sometimes that happens, I am slightly very dyslexic. There we go. We built a kind of shape. How silly. Well, out of the 300 pages, we are now on the 10th page. Yay. Right, so I need 2 of those. What I'll do is I'll get everything for one single page out at once, or both pages. Right, I have all the parts for that. Then you get another 2 of these and 1 of these. I wonder what tub will completely empty first. That's been a little thought I was having there. I'll put that stripped parts there first. After these pages, I might go put some background noise on for myself. You know, my aim is to have an hour and a half maybe on this one. So yeah, this is cool because I managed to get the thumbnail and all that stuff working as well, so that I'm happy about. Right, I need another one of those parts. I again forgot. You may notice a recurring theme here. Oh wait, I screwed up. I need another. Right, I see where I went wrong. Okay. I'm assuming this bit we're doing here, we're going to have to duplicate, perhaps? It's just an educated guess, but this is kind of what we've got managed to get. There we go. I will be putting some background noise on. So you probably hear a guy, it's a guy I watch on YouTube, he's called Jago Hazard. Because chances are it'll be his stuff that gets recommended the minute YouTube loads up. It's always him. But the guy talks about like trains and like Victorian era Britain and stuff, and I just don't know why. I don't know if it's because the guy has like a relaxing demeanor or what it is when he's talking, but it just works out so well. Two of those. 2 of these. Yeah. If this was on a desk and it was all like one long desk, this would probably go a bit easier, but not an option. Right. There we go. Also, I'll be able to do it sitting down as the parts start to go down. I'll start to have to reach around less as tubs empty. I can just bring them out to the front, so it'll become easier over time. Right, launching YouTube. So I've got something on in the background as I'm building this, but I wonder I wonder what point in this, right? I wonder what point we'll get to in this where it starts to actually take enough shape that it looks like a falcon. Because again, I'm just doing these as episodes just now, so it's fun what episode it actually starts to look like. It's right now, the first one of these. There's no danger this where someone looks at this, unless you like really know the technical structures of Lego models. You're not going to look at this and go, oh, hey, look, that's the falcon. There we go, that is just about assembled. So then that bit will click on here. Is that meant to have technics on the opposite end? No, it is not. Apparently that part can just free motion move around. Joe, actually, I think I figured out what exactly that is. What part where it is. I could be wrong. Let's try to get that to click in these technic parts. I'm going to put these other bits that I have on, then I'll show you what I think we're at. Actually, there's a good point. I cut all this table and just become unsuitable for what I'm building. That I hope doesn't happen, but I mean, I'm yet to find the Lego model I can't build on the table. But here's what I'm thinking. So this bit here and this bit here are like those kind of docking bays at the very side of the falcon. And this is kind of like the middle, perhaps. Again, I could be wrong, but that's just my educated guess. It's one of those sets where I won't know completely, or I'll be able to roughly guess until we're a certain point through the build. Right, let's get something on the background. Do you know what? There's a review of the new Lego Turbo Tank, the one that doesn't look too good. I'll watch a review of it. Right, so we need to get some parts. One of those. One of those. Alright, we're getting to use some parts we've not touched yet. Cool. Be great as soon as I find out where some are. I tell you one thing, I wonder how many times the guy had to go buy more bins just to figure out all the parts, or, you know, separate each individual type of part out. Because this is, I'm blown away by this.
Introducing Just Eat Plus. Get unlimited delivery, just $5.99 for 90 days.
It's a $160 clone vehicle. Okay, this could be a lot of things. Releasing in the 20th anniversary year for Revenge of the Sith. Alright, I like where this is going. And it has Galactic Marines, Commander Makara, and Kiadi Moon. Oh my god, we're finally getting a UT-80. Hopefully they have wastegapes on the clone troopers. Oh man.
Alright, I'm trying to find a certain type of part, but I'm not finding what bin it's in.
Every once in a while, LEGO Star Wars releases a set that makes you think, boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it. And that's exactly what it feels like we have here in the 75413 Republic Juggernaut with 813 pieces for $160. There's a laundry list of issues this set seems to have that we're going to have to review. The price, the quality of the minifigs, the fact that it's not a UT-AT, the size, the stability, the fact that it's not a UT-AT. Let's go through the motions here first, though. The box art does look pretty cool, even though I'm not sure which planet it's taking place on. It's certainly not at the exact place of Order 66 on Magneto that we see all of these characters together. The back of the box highlights some of the features and functions of the turbo tank or mini tank.
I didn't consider in here.
As well as showing it.
Silly me. How many?
Orientation. Anyway, I'm super excited.
2. And then 12 of those.
It's going to be good at all.
1,
checking your instruction manual, just normal Lego instructions here. We've also got the sticker sheet in there, which
4,
just a few stickers in this set.
5,
And then finally you've got 6 numbered bags,
6,
an additional 7 holding your
7,
pieces for the wheels. We've got 8
8,
figures in total here, 5 of which
9,
are actual minifigs and 3 of which are battle droids. And I'll start out with
10,
my favorite figure in the set,
11,
and
and 12. We've got all 12 parts of those.
2018. He also still makes use of the amazing looking piece with that ponytail print on the back that represents where his second brain is. Some people may have been hoping for arm printing on this fig, but from what I can tell in Revenge of the Sith, arm printing is absolutely not needed. Just blank tan arms do the job more than well. So Keanu Mooney here, 10 out of 10 fig, great job. Next we have Commander Makar for the first time in LEGO Star Wars form here, and much like almost every other clone for the last 4 years, he is littered with issues. We'll start with the one highlight on this fig though, and it's that they made him a unique helmet mold with the antenna molded into it. I think the shaping on the accurate.
There we go. It took a little while because I kind of forgot one of them's got a tinted kind of plastic. So it was kind of a bit easy for me to miss them.
Doesn't fill out the helmet like it's supposed to, like it does in universe, and ultimately it ends up looking a little bit awkward and chipmunky is probably the best way I can describe it. Do want to give credit for the correct 2 red dots and number of lines on the cheek. Rare, correct, accurate detail on clone shippers from the LEGO Star Wars minifig design. The same attention to detail, unfortunately, did not carry down on the torso, where you've got some straps and a small breastplate on top of kind of the standard clone shipper armor from 2020 onward.
But I'm curious to see what it's like to hold inside. Like, I've held a 2017 one. And yeah, of course I forgot to get those technique pins. I held the one from 2017. And that one's a good size, but someone told me this one's bigger. I'm curious to see if that's true or not.
It's kind of ironic because when they did the ammo pouch on Captain Rex, they made the breastplate way too small, and it's even crazier when you consider back in 2020 with the perfect 212th Airborne Trooper, they made it the perfect size, and they included the correct detail. You see that orange stripe?
Sorry if there's any lag in the stream. I really do apologize for that.
That looks like a continuation of the strap in that corner. I don't know why they couldn't do this. They did this perfectly fine 5 years ago. And wrong. One little thing I would love to see added here is a small bit of arm printing to represent that tiny little pauldron he wears. Like that would have been nice.
Those little small pieces that go in here.
$60 set, probably the only time we're ever getting this character. And you already knew this, but there is of course just the printed slivers of a waist cape that you aren't getting the physical waist cape that you should be getting. So really unfortunate there. Of course you've got the standard clone trooper head underneath. Nothing else exciting about the figure going on. Outside of the fact that they made it a helmet mold, I really do not care for this figure. On him, like having that little and correct torso detailing would have gone a long way here. It's just a shame you wait 20 years and you get slopped. Now I think the Galactic Marines fared better, and that starts with the helmet mold looking amazing.
So we're building outwards. We're going, those bits that go out, we're going to go longer with those. That's kind of the part we're working on just now, because this is kind of the end piece. Eventually, as we go on, we'll be able to figure out what part of the ship it is. That's kind of the cool thing about this. Construction, don't actually make that, don't make that entirely clear, which is kind of cool in a way. I have grabbed the wrong size of one of these parts.
Green, and yet they make the eyes black here. I just don't get it. It's really basic stuff. Eyes getting lower though. The torso and leg design, bar of course, the excluded waist cape is great. Like great job. A cloth waist cape would have gone a long way on these figs, especially. But it's modern LEGO Star Wars. What do you expect? An overpriced $160 set. Quality? No. Not get that. Briefly on the back, there's a simple backpack.
There we go. That's step complete, and we just join it up with the other one. I'm open to criticism, right? In terms of the camera angles, I would like to hear what people are thinking about that. This is already becoming the size of the table, and it's stream number 1. Brilliant.
The reality is that if these figures released 10 years ago, they would have been the perfect version of these characters. Like, imagine if they'd gotten these in 2014, how good they would be compared to what they are now. And when you think about that, how could you possibly accept what LEGO Star Wars is putting out today? I certainly can't. I'm tired of it, and it's even more because these are characters I've waited so long to get. Finally, we have 3 battle droids here, which always feel like throw-ins to increase the perceived value for the consumer, but don't be fooled here. These are worth pennies to LEGO, and they just throw them into the
There we go. Got all step pages or parts for that page. The other one. Again, for the first few streams, I'll be very up, down kind of thing going on.
It just doesn't seem right. I think if you squinted your eyes and held this thing at arm's length, you have an amazing clone turbo tank. And kind of seriously, the silhouette of this thing is perfect. It's got great proportions for the clone turbo tank, probably the best we've ever seen. Unfortunately, it's also the smallest we've ever seen. Next to the 3 prior turbo tanks, it makes this tiny tank look sad. And it wouldn't be such a big deal if this set was maybe $120, which would be significantly less than any of those other sets adjusted for inflation.
Go, let's get these on.
I'm doing a full comparison video of these on my channel, so I'm not going to go through.
So yeah, big thanks to that seller. I had quite a few other creators like UCS Star Destroyers and stuff for sale. Big thanks to that seller for packaging this the way that they did. This is like, I cannot thank them enough. This has made this process less. I genuinely thought first stream, right, I'll be looking for every small part, like 10 minutes.
But anyway, we all know it's really good to me, surprisingly. You've got this translucent blue color, which looks amazing. It's a really nice accent to the turbo tank, I think, and it's actually translucent. You can see into and out of the turbo tank, so you can see that opposite angle here in a moment. You've got a sticker on the very front, and it seems to me like the gray matches the gray brick a little bit better, so that seems to be maybe a slight improvement there. The one part on this section I really don't like is the sand blue at the top. You can see in Revenge of the Sith, it is clearly not supposed to be sand blue. It is supposed to be gray on top of the turbo tank here, so we'll come back to that sand blue thing in a little bit when we get to the wheels, because there's more there, but yeah, I don't like that at all. I think accessing this section is simple, but also requires
Doing these kind of yellow bits, so it's probably going to start to take a shape change.
I would normally think you could just open these, lift this up, and you're good to go, which gives you okay access to the interior. You can kind of stick it in there, but you really are going to have trouble trying to stick the figure in there. Like, you know, my bigger hand, even you have some trouble. It's really deep in there, and it's hard to get a figure down there properly like this. So you actually have to
That's happened again. I am very sorry.
just a different way to access this, but even with them up, I think this is plenty.
I will have to get the tripod. I'm not able to get the tripod accessible.
It is completely stuck in place, and so it doesn't drop down. And I think that's a big reason that this is a little bit more difficult to access than you might expect. But really, it's the fact that it's on top.
And now we've got to build some sections to stick in, but it's to start the shape. It's this big shape that comes out and down. Alright, I'm skipping these annoying adverts. YouTube and their double adverts. Where will it end with the fall of society? Oh, my finger slipped quite a bit there trying to get that in.
That's kind of annoying. Anyway, inside you've got a large control panel, which I think is nicely detailed, and then you've got basically a pit for the seat for your Galactic Marine, and this is where I question everything Lego Star Wars once again. They claim they don't include wastegapes because the minifig can't sit down, yet they include this backpack that doesn't allow the minifig to sit down with the backpack. You actually have to remove the backpack to have the Galactic Marine sit down. Meanwhile, if they have wastegate, they can still sit down just fine, no problem. So it's just ironic to me. I'm going to make that point every time something like that comes up. I just won't stand for it. Luckily, you don't have to remove the bracket piece on his back. He just has to lean slightly forward. But yeah, with that black green in there, I think he looks really nice, and you can see him through those translucent windscreens. Moving into the middle section here, you've already seen a preview of what the crow's nest can do, but placing the on top of it, the design of it is not the best. It looks kind of
There we are.
to me.
Progress. I know it's right. That is what that bit is.
It looks good, right? So, yeah, pretty rough. Anyway, you lift it up, and it actually looks pretty cool with the character up higher. I think it looks its best without the character on it, but up in a higher position. But that's going to be up to you how you want to use it, I suppose. When you push down on it, or when you push on it, it's actually pretty sturdy. It's not
Right, over an hour. That's great.
Into the body of the turbo tank, which is nice. Like, you want it to be able to actually stay up like you would expect. But the problem I have with it is you can pretty easily pull it a little bit too far. And there's nothing on the bottom holding it in to keep it from doing that. That's not been the case on previous versions. I mean, some of the old versions, it would rotate in place and it would snap into place and hold itself up. This one I like that it's actually like gonna stop wherever you stop it, but at the same time, the downside is you can pull it right out. Very easy to put back in. Not the end of the world, but something I definitely noticed. Next, we got a really cool looking simple cannon on top, making use of the Harry Potter wand piece to give it a nice like thin barrel. It can be rotated, but because this whole section here is removable, it's loose, and so when you do rotate it, it kind of moves around and can get put out of place, which does suck. But it does mostly move okay as long as you apply some downward force while spinning it. Looking at the side panel of the turbo tank, it's actually crazy how small the side panel is on this set. But first off, the red stripe probably should stop right about here, and so this part should be gray. That would be more accurate to Revenge of the Sith. I wish
There we go, there's all that part. Let's keep going.
The reference material that I looked at, this part in particular, very well designed, also making use of Harry Potter.
This is quite well done for 2007. I'll be honest, it's kind of how I expected it would go as far as the build.
I'm really against stud shooters, but in this particular case, it makes a lot of sense to have a stud shooter on the side of the turbo tank. Why they put it so low, though, I'm not sure. Because on the 2016 turbo tank, and very much accurate to in-universe, they put it higher, and this would be where the like actual missiles on the turbo tank in universe would be, like right here. So why not also have it there on this one like you did in 2016? As I alluded to, this top piece is going to be removable.
So we're kind of just doing what we already done there with that kind of side bit, but we're doing it the opposite way.
Cool. And then we also have the sides that are going to drop down, and it does bring down the front and back panel with it. Some of the older models were just the middle panel. This is going to be all three panels at the same time. So that drops down, the other side can drop down, and you will notice there is a stud here, and that's because it actually holds it on so that it doesn't just flop around on you. Honestly, it doesn't flop around at all. You can see it's actually
There we go, that's taking shape, check that.
try to move it. Like, this thing's not going down on its own, but they still kind of went the extra mile to add that stud for that extra strength, which is definitely nice there. Look at it. And
My one question with this is to do with the feet of the model.
so looking at the interior with everything open, it's clearly
Because
vertically challenged, but you'll be surprised to know as I was.
I know, I think if I'm right on this, on 2017, from a builder, why build I saw that, or not why build, speed build, the feet go on after you do like a bunch of paneling stuff. I could be wrong on mine. Hopefully the feet go on this as you're doing this part.
All of the way, and I think that clearly shows that that is a problem. So Galactic Greens and Makara outside of this pit in the middle we'll get to are going to be relegated to sitting. But first I want to show where the weapons go, because you can see a lot of empty studs at the back. You are actually able to store all of your clones weapons back there, which is nice.
And we connect them completely with this kind of bracket there.
Anyway, in the very middle we have this large pit with a seat, and while in the box it shows Commander Makara there, I think it's
Right, we've got to put these Technic bits in just to kind of hold this in just that bit more.
With the roof or anything, but I think it makes the most sense for Kiani Movie to go in the middle there if you're going to put in the turbo tank. And with our other seats, you can just place the Marines down. The backpacks have to be removed with a backing, and the wall at the back of them is slightly indented, you can see there, so that allows their backpack to fit just fine. I also like that the minifigs aren't stuck so close together that you can tap their hands up. Like, it's actually a surprisingly spacious interior given how small it looks. I like that you can fit.
That's now sturdily in with those Technic pins, that's great.
In front of Kiani Movie, there's space for another figure definitely to stand, if not sit, if you want to modify the set a little bit and add another seat. There is one more section connected to the...
And so how much longer are we going to go for?
If you just lift this panel up, you've actually got a giant gaping hole going into...
It's 2 minutes to 12, probably going to go for another 20, 25 minutes hopefully is what I can get out of this. Right, tan parts.
Anything here,
I think that'll be there in there. 4 of these.
At least fill the space, make it look cool, but they just left it as a black void. So kind of lame. I was trying to think of any use of this space, and all I could think of at the top here was maybe a spot to hold Kiani Mooney's lightsaber, because it doesn't seem to interfere with the people at the bottom as it closes back up. It's just fine. So you could maybe use it as storage for that, but yeah, otherwise completely wasted like 5 studs of space there. Looking at that area all closed up though, you can see how good of a job they did minimizing the gaps. You really cannot see into that section at all. Looks great. And then we get into kind of the back third of the turbo tank or tiny tank here with this section, which usually would be something. On this set, it's not.
You could spend days trying to sell privately, or selling a flash with We Buy Any Car. And to your rich number now at We Buy
Now they're in here, right. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 of those.
Towering loops.
1,
It's nothing.
2,
Nothing there.
3,
It's maybe a little
4.
structural support in there. I can't even remember. Let's rip it open. Nope. Really nothing. Just nothing. Just empty. Sad. Anyway, going back to the turbo tank, again, they are relying pretty heavily on stickers to
5,
show the detail, but I do think the stickers in this case look nice. They add to the design of the turbo tank, and we once again
6,
have that into and out of the turbo tank.
7. Where is, and there is number 8.
The turbo tank looks awesome. There unfortunately were some gaps that are seemingly unavoidable here, but we'll look a little bit above that.
1, 2, 3,
And I actually like this
4.
part of the set, mostly. Like, it looks really cool, and I think it looks even cooler when you put the black and green in its place there. There's something about how low he sits there that just really speaks to me. Unfortunately, it does come at a cost, because with the marine removed, there's a gaping hole into the back of the turbo tank. They didn't close it up, and it wasn't big enough to do that. Really, the compromise you have to get. But it doesn't really go in there, so there's that. Now, this back section can be a little bit annoying to access, because
There we go, we've got all those parts. Let's get building. I think those might be actually the struts that hold on the landing gear.
I am serious. Like, actually, that is all. You can't actually move that any further forward. You can't move these any further out. You're gonna have to put your hand pretty deep in there to place the black.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that these little bits, because you do 4 of these at the back, and their placement kind of makes me think they're for the landing gear.
Finally, we get to the underside of the turbo tank. Good looking here. You can move up and down as you please. And then here you've got what looks like.
So the fact that we're over an hour, and we've already hit my goal for this episode. You know, an hour of. Granted, we probably spent 24 minutes of the last over 60 opening up and getting started. But again, you know, first episode, I think that's all right. That was kind of in here. Try to get these in because it's trying to guide. It's down and try and get that. Cool.
Around that it would just fall apart or something. They really don't. I'm pushing, moving, like trying to get it to break. If you push out from the inside, yes, these will come off. But otherwise, any like reasonable force applied to these in any other direction, you're not going to have trouble. Now, I also
see those brackets there, those cones that hang down? That's what I suspect is going to be landing gear. Or something like that.
What we saw in the Clone Wars, according to this render. You can't really tell in the Clone Wars. I tried to find it, couldn't find it where it was clear and obvious that it's sand blue. But in this render, it's sand blue. So I do see why they chose sand blue, although I think they had to really seek that out. If you look at a render of the Sith, which is what I think this build should have been solely inspired by, given the minifig selection and the year it's coming out. Like, they should have used gray. They should have used gray here. It is clearly not sand blue in a render of the Sith, and so from that standpoint, I think it's wrong to use sand blue here. So I did get the pieces together to switch it out to light gray. This is what the build looks like with all light gray instead of sand blue, and I think it makes it look better. Anyway, sand blue aside, the build for the wheel is
Last one on.
about 10 or 11 more pieces than the big wheel piece would use. So across the whole site, you're looking at 100 pieces of inflated part count compared to the previous wheels. And so keep that in mind too when you're calculating your price per piece here. Typically, they just use 1 or 2 big pieces on these wheels, and here they're using like 12 or 13 pieces. And so you're getting 100 extra pieces in this set, when if they did it like they used to, you would actually get 100 less for still the same exact stuff. Unsurprisingly, the rolling function for the turbo tank works really well here. The wheels get enough grip, even on a smooth surface, that they are all...
So you're kind of doing some bits to connect into those. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. Again, that's the cool part of building a set I've never built before, is so you get all the kind of guessing of, oh, what's this bit going to do? What does this do?
Turn to that side as you are moving, and it's kind of surprising. There are no springs. A little bit of rubber on the underside of it that kind of pushes it back to the center spot, but there's no springs. The previous turbo tanks all had metal springs on this middle wheel, and they did away with it, and it actually feels just fine. I was quite surprised that it doesn't feel like a compromised system there. Bringing in a thin object, we'll test it over some terrain here. Next, a slightly thicker notebook, also not really a problem for this turbo tank. My MacBook seems to be the upper limit of how thick of an object this turbo tank can handle, which is fine. I think it can handle enough terrain that, especially for kids, you're going to have a good play experience. It's not maybe as crazy as some of the older turbo tanks may have been, but I think it gets gets the job done for the size of the build. For the price, probably not, right? But the size of the build, it handles terrain well. Besides the price, size, and accuracy, the big talking point on this tiny tank has been its stability. Will it just fall apart in your hands as you're moving it around and playing with it? Well, if you're playing with it on the ground, you're not going to have any trouble.
We're kind of doing the inner lining of these parts. I know those studs, because they're kind of between the main Technic. That's kind of why I was thinking that might function that way.
Is that through normal use, it should be fine. Like if you pick it up like this, you're going to be fine. If you pick it up at the neck, you could have some trouble. Like I grip down here, like that's where most of my force is, like right here. So that's not going to be a problem. But if you hold it higher, this can fall off. So I'll try to like really stress it here. So there you go. It can come apart like that because these are only connected to those 4 studs total there. And so obviously putting all the pressure here, holding up, is going to eventually cause that to release. So not great, but also incredible depending on where you're putting the pressure.
There we go. Right, next page.
This section, you just lift it in the place that I would consider to be normal to want to lift the turbo tank. The other way to lift it up would be to just grab this middle section, and you're going to be perfectly fine with this. Like, again, it's not a spaceship, so you really shouldn't have to worry about ragdolling it around, but even so, to perform my short little test here, obviously it would be unreasonable to just grab it from one end to the other, but you can grab it from this end and lift it up and make it do okay. This other end, I just can't even get enough lift. So
Alright.
this other end to come up, and these will
1,
definitely
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
but that's an unreasonable way to pick it up, so I don't really see that as a
7.
problem. Some people, though, because there's no you know, when you go to lift up the turbo tank by the doors. Oh
8,
my god. Now, to be fair, I haven't tested
9,
it. It's been stressed a little
10,
bit maybe when it was first built, but maybe
11,
that just shouldn't happen.
12,
Put together really well
13,
here, just like I had just
14,
built it, and let's try that again. So lifting that up, all right,
15,
and we'll do that. Go back and forth, back and
16,
forth.
17,
Shapes that
8. I've got 18 here.
I'll just keep going until it breaks. Alright, so maybe like 20 or something. Personally, I would never pick up my turbo tank by the doors, right? I would pick it up like
Need
this.
10 of those.
Normally the doors would be closed because I'd be done playing with it or whatever. Doors would close up with the troopers inside, and then I would lift it like this, which again, you're not going to have a problem with. So I think if you hold it normally, you're fine. But I also think LEGO looks at these kitchens a lot of time, and like, yeah, you can't just have your set fall apart when you pick it up in a slightly abnormal way. The other way I've seen people try to pick this up is like this. That's not going to happen, and I don't think that's a normal way to pick it up. But it also totally looks like a place you would just grab the turbo tank and lift it up and think you can just walk around with it. So I could definitely see some kids having some trouble with that. Now, I think anyone watching a video like this and understanding what I'm saying, you could understand, like, pick up the turbo tank like this, or close the doors and pick the turbo tank up like that, right? Like normal ways to pick up the turbo tank. But again, as a kid's toy first, supposedly, right? In a lot of cases, this should have been better engineered to not fall apart through, well, I'll call it rugged use. It's still somewhat expected as a kid's toy use. He's holding it in one hand, trying to do something stupid here to see it break. And
I need to
it's
find
together okay, but yeah,
10 of those.
to give holding it by a single door. And just to test it, I got to try out 2010 Turbo Tank. It's a much heavier model, and it has a much more, oh, look, you can't hold it by the door. But again, the argument is that it doesn't have a carrying handle, so it should be more robust, maybe, than this one. I'm not even going to try 2005, because I know that one will fall apart, but here's 2016. This one you can see much more Technic on the inside. This one, and then there go the similar shooters, the doors do seem to hold up better. Let's see, we'll shake it around a bit. It is not falling apart. So 2016 maybe a little more durable than 2025 here. I think if you're an older collector, you might just never run into any of the major stability issues that you see.
Yeah, it's not in there, the type of part I'm looking for.
You will occasionally have little snags like that.
Ah, I found them. They're they're mixed in here. Alright.
This section here, where this falls apart, it really sucks. And that's where I would normally grab the turbo tank. Like I said, even if you're grabbing it at somewhere where a kid might do it, and so it should be better than this. And I think that could be an issue. There's a lot of noise I have with this, messing around with it. This stud is a little bit dislodged. When it's dislodged, it actually doesn't allow the door to connect. So how well it connect, you have to like perfectly straighten it to get it
5.
and so that happens naturally, and it's really annoying. Again, really annoying. So I don't like that. I hope they don't do the Apple thing.
Check.
Holding it wrong, because ultimately, like even when I'm holding it in a way that
7.
hold it, it falls apart, and it probably feels like you should address So it's going to go in.
9 and 10, right.
Done this in the past with other models. Q Slave 1 is a good example of a set that would actually break in your hands if you held it the wrong way. And so LEGO at some point during that set's lifespan released an updated version that fixed that design flaw.
Right.
Kind of would hope they do the same
There we
thing
go.
here. You've now seen everything this set has to offer, and I'm so disappointed in the summer 2025 Republic Juggernaut on so many levels. The price, obviously way too high. The build, obviously way too small. The figures, obviously not good enough because they would have been better 10 years ago. How is that even possible? And Santa's bad, and Downward's bad. And that one set, like, we should have gotten 6 Galactic Marines instead of 3 Battle Droids. Like, just switch them out. The Fortnite Battle Bus had enough minifigs to fill its seats for $100. Why can't the turbo tank for $160? I really do not recommend buying this set. It is clearly a $120 set that they jacked the price up to take advantage of people.
Right, I'm just going to try. It's all these red pins I've got here need to go in now.
Effort to make the figs as good as they would have been 10 years ago, but they just don't, and it doesn't make sense. In another life, maybe things would have been different, but I feel like this set encapsulates almost everything that I think is wrong with LEGO Star Wars, and I wish it wasn't that way.
Introducing Just Eat Plus. Get unlimited delivery, just $5.99 for 90 days.
I've got to really get these in.
Battle pack, while the assassin droids are fine characters, I suppose, it's just an odd battle pack for sure. And I really do love the vehicle in this one, though. I think it's one of the cleaner, sleeker battle pack speeders. Welcome to the Imperial Bricks YouTube channel. It's Nixter here, and in this series, I'm collecting all of the characters or minifigures featured in Star Wars, the complete saga video game. In this episode, we'll be adding a new minifigure to the main collection here.
Right, sorry about the lack of commentary. I'm just trying to get these in. Cause a bit of focus pushing parts together. Get these to go in seamlessly.
Sketchy because it's a Cristo minifigure and we really do not want to damage this torso. It is mine that I paid for, so there's not really like just hurts me these scraps. So let's just try to get this over with really quickly. And okay, those popped out really nicely, so I don't think we're gonna have any issues.
There's all these little red pins, and I think you're gonna stick yours. Ah. I think I figured out how this is going to work. Right. Why they've got the outward red facing pins. So I was wondering that. Right. Also, yeah, it's now branching out this way, so I was right. This must be the this square has to be the middle point, the Falcon with the turret. I'm gonna assume because these are perfectly all the bits will curve round. This must be the back, and of course we'll have the bit for like the cockpit and the mandibles that come off this way. So that's just kind of my educated guess. Can't excuse on my knee for now, right?
still a Jedi robe, but it's more of like a vest. At least it's official Lego minifigures. But yeah, here he is, and matter of fact, display just a little bit here.
Got 10 of these to do. Is connecting these blue pins into these kind of black swivel mounts.
And this guy is made by Boss Customs. It's got a resin printed head that's been painted. Take a closer look here. See that the paint is pretty nice. Kind of sticking to it, but for the most part, it looks pretty good to me. And you can see that unfortunately it does have the same torso as the Snaggletooth guy. I don't know what the alien name for him was, but the torso that I think should go with this guy that has like brown kind of vest and the little knot up at the collar area wasn't made, so they all have all the NPCs from Boss Customs have this same torso, and unfortunately for this
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I figured it were all Pengo. Brilliant.
And I don't think I'm mistaken when I say this, the pants for this guy don't have to be like gray. I want to say that Boss Customs put all the same gray pants on all of them. Not saying that none of the NPCs can spawn with gray pants, but again, I'm pretty sure that this guy would have white pants.
I'm doing all ones on one side. I'll show you in a minute, then I'm going to flip it over and do the other end. There'll be parts of these lives where it's a bit like this, unless I find a really good camera angle where you can see what I'm doing regardless. But again, that'll be something I figure out as we do this, because I'm not going to be. I'll be doing this live, this build. But I don't have anything else planned after this, and it's not that like it could be 6 months to a year before I do another one. I don't know, maybe I'll exclusively do the UCS sets on YouTube. Maybe that'll be a thing I start doing.
Routines can help you set goals and score them, but it's not the routine that makes you. It's you who makes your routine, and whatever yours is, we have the bar for it. This bar, the ultimate energy bar.
The minifigure we get to add to the main TCS is the Bausch Leia minifigure, and this is a custom pad printed minifigure by DG Customs. If you want to go get one, there might be some still left in stock. I don't know if they're actually available, especially depending on when you're watching this video. But let's take a closer look at the figure here. So starting at the top, we've got
Do this a little bit, then I'm going to get a drink, because I imagine we'll be replicating that on the other side.
custom printing the face prints, and I'm a fan of that, especially on the solo minifigures where the official ones don't look exactly like the game. I want to say for Leia it's a little bit different. The only detail that I'm aware of that is different is the shade of red for the lips, and I'm very
So all these many little pins and connectors is kind of what we're doing there, but there we go. It now takes up more or less a table, but all men of progress. Ooh, some really technical bits are coming up. Right, got a whole bunch of parts I need to look for this page. 4 of these. For those. Like I'm already in a position where I can just reach over and grab the parts. And that's in the first stream as well. Right, how many of those am I going to need? 2. I did the last two of those. So I can tell you that for a fact we've used up an entire the entire grouping of these pieces. All of those have now been used. So cool. First piece I've used all of, to my knowledge. Three small pegs visible. Might get a board or something to put on the bed to lean as. I think eventually that might be required. So I'm only doing small technic parts. It won't look like a whole bunch of progress to you, but trust me, at the same time it is. Right. We'll get those long ones. Are those in a separate drawer? Or are they on that big one with plates? Nope, they're in here. Is that them? Nah, they look too small.
Starbucks is built for you to be able to browse freely, and with password, and tabs sync across all of your devices. Give Firefox a try and download it today.
There we go. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Progress on a actual wall-mounted display for these guys. I think I said this in the last episode. I'm going to have to rearrange this room so that I have more wall space to put these guys on, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet. By the end of the summer, we'll have separate. First, we add our young figure to go right here. Then we've got our Agility minifigure.
So just kind of put plates on top of the Technic, probably just to secure it, just a bit more. Oh crap, I made a mistake here.
Really good. This second row is now one fig away from being complete. We're just waiting on the Rebel Friend. Hopefully Krista's going to make that, and it'll perfectly match the Antilles as well as the Rebel Trooper that all of them have in display. And that'll be the first complete row on in the collection, which is really exciting. I've gotten plenty of comments about higher boosts and figs and how it doesn't even look more full than it used to be, but trust me, if you go back to the earlier episodes, you'll notice that there are far less figs in the display, and it's really cool to see it build up this far. And I'm glad that all of you guys have followed along for the journey because I think
Right, what time are we on?
so. That's gonna be it for this
This will
episode.
be ending after this page.
And go check out
But it's been an hour and a half, which is about what I was aiming for. Yeah, again, tripod will get sorted out for the next stream.
Experimenting is one of the most important things we can do. Mixing things and testing different outcomes has allowed us to figure out how things work and how to make the most of them. Railways were naturally no different, and when British Rail was experimenting with diesel power in the 1960s, they learned the hard way not only how to do things right, but also how to do them very wrong. With the modernisation scheme underway, British Rail was experimenting with various diesel locomotive designs to find an ideal standard design for their Type 1 engines. The Type 1s were to be low-power machines designed for light goods work and occasional passenger services on the main line, and the Class 20s were found to be an ideal standard design. The only issue was the positioning of their cabs. Being set at one end of the locomotive gave the driver a clear view ahead when driving cab forwards, but it was almost impossible for the driver to see when travelling in the opposite direction, requiring either the locomotive be turned around or the driver having to operate the engine practically blind. Naturally, BR wanted a single cab locomotive that had the desired performance as well as clear visibility for the driver when running in both directions. And so in 1962 they began looking for locomotive builders who could meet their specifications. One of the companies that agreed to give it a go was the Clayton Equipment Company, who came up with a design where the cab would be set directly in the middle of the locomotive's body, with small engine compartments on either side, allowing the driver to clearly see over them. British Rail was interested and went forwards with the Clayton design, ordering 117 from the company with the intention of making them the standard Type 1 design. In order to achieve
This page and then we'll finish, I think. It's one extra page. I'll do a small bit of work off stream to it. Maybe like a page or two, but like I'm not going to go nuts. I'm saving this mostly streaming content anyway.
XL engines, with 2 units being fitted with Rolls-Royce engines instead. Their transmission was electric, with one engine being enough to power all 4 traction motors that drove the wheels. The cab was equipped with 2 sets of controls, one facing in each direction, as well as many other quality of life features, such as a fire suppression system in the engine bays, warning systems that monitored fluid levels, the engines were balanced to reduce vibrations, lifting brackets were fitted to make maintenance easier.
No, we need to flip it upside down, so I'll do it first. Thank you, man. Right, so we've got to flip it this way. So after this, I'm just gonna end the stream. There'll be maybe a stream early tomorrow, perhaps. That's something I'm considering. If not, it'll be one later on. Like, it'll be a really long one tomorrow. A couple hours at least. If you wonder what we're building, it's the set 10179 UCS Falcon from 2007.
Southern, but it turned out the amazing visibility they promised came with some drawbacks. To start with, the engines were notorious for failing, suffering from camshaft and cylinder issues, as well as their crankcases fracturing. The Rolls-Royce engine blocks favored so spectacular that they were within a year of them being introduced, they were already
Yeah.
to fill in for the 17s. Even when they did work, their lack of power made them practically useless useless for the good work they were intended to do, even when working with multiple
Right, 2 more then, and then that'll be it for tonight.
17 stuck working on light goods and moving empty passenger stock, a far shout from the mainline goods machines they were meant to. Engines were originally built for use in diesel rail cars and chosen because they were small, making it much easier to see over them. But given other more powerful engines were readily available, this choice is very questionable. The choice to have 2 separate engines as well made them much more expensive.
So, I'll pause that while I talk. So this is how far we've got in the first episode of doing this. Looks pretty great. I'm quite happy with that. It's a nice solid bit of progress. Because if you saw earlier, this is the set used, organised it, setting it all this way, and it's more of it up there. It's like, honestly, I've never had such a good organisation job on a used set. It's crazy. But we'll pick up where we left off probably tomorrow. Well, definitely tomorrow. But I won't be building any more tonight. I'm actually going to go pack that stuff up. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream.